This is Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, apprehensions jumped 182% in one Texas border sector. Del Rio sector of Border Patrol officials report an increase of 182% of migrants apprehended after illegally crossing the border from Mexico into Texas. The report compares November 2019 to the same month this year. The bulk of the increase in apprehensions came in the category of single adult aliens. Agents arrested 7,951 single adults in November 2020 compared to 1,793 in November 2019, the report states. This marks an increase in the arrest of single adults of more than 340%. We got Republican Andy Biggs, and he's going to talk a little bit more about what I've been saying about the migrant caravan surge that's happening if Joe Biden does come in. And we got in Honduras, we have all these hurricanes that have basically destroyed a lot of the area. So expect these migrant caravans to be coming in full force. Check this out.
Hi, Andy Biggs here from Arizona's 5th Congressional District. I just want to talk briefly about the surge that's taking place on the border, the caravan that's coming up from Central America, the formation of additional caravans. In November, almost 70,000 illegal border crossers were apprehended. Almost 70,000. We don't know what the real number of getaways is either, but you can imagine that it was at least half that and maybe even more than that 70,000 people that actually got into the country illegally. We don't know whether they've got COVID or any other disease. If you remember 2 years ago when we dealt with this, all kinds of diseases were coming in to this country by the surge of illegal aliens from around the world. We anticipate that they're going to apprehend somewhere close to 100,000, maybe even more than 100,000 in December. What's driving this is you have Joe Biden, who the world is more and more beginning to believe that he is going to be the next president. President Donald Trump was building a border fence. He's built 450 miles. Looks like he might be able to get 500 miles before he leaves office. President Trump had an agreement with Mexico that asylees would stay in Mexico if they were from Mexico or a neighbor. These types of things really slowed down the surge to come across into the United States. What Joe Biden has said, a moratorium on deportations. He has said he's going to grant amnesty to illegal aliens, at least 11 million, and he wants to give an amnesty to all illegal aliens in the country. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support sanctuary cities. They're going to stop building a fence. They're going to turn the CBP into a search and rescue agency rather than a border security and enforcement agency. They're going to emasculate ICE. All these things they've said. This is in the public record. This isn't Andy Biggs saying this. These are things they have said. What that does is it causes incentives for people to try to come into this country illegally. I predict that in the spring, you're going to see a surge that exceeds or matches the 2018 surge when we were fighting the leftists and the Pelosi regime that were coming in. That's what I think is going to happen. We're going to continue fighting the surge. I'll be back on the border in the next few weeks, talking to people who live along the border, people who have businesses along the border, agents along the border. Once January 20th comes, if there's a change in administration, I don't think we're going to get the same kind of cooperation or the same kind of commitment to securing our border that we relied on under President Donald Trump.
CBP Acting Commissioner Mark Morgan is warning against the economic impact canceling the construction of the southern border wall will have. Morgan saying that canceling wall contracts would cost taxpayers millions of dollars in termination costs, leave critical materials and innovative technology behind, and force thousands of construction workers to lose their jobs. Presumptive President-elect Joe Biden has previously vowed that he would immediately stop the construction of that southern border wall. Take a listen.
There will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration, number one. Number two, what I'm going to focus on, the fact is that somebody in this group written a lot about the border. I'm going to make sure that we have border protection, but it's going to be based on making sure that we use high-tech capacity to deal with it.
In Texas, U.S. Customs and Border Protection were able to stop more than $1.5 million worth of drugs from crossing the border. The CBP officer seized 81 pounds of crystal meth in Eagle Pass at a port of entry when an officer made the decision to have a white Ford scanned and inspected by a drug dog. Both the drugs and vehicle were seized, and the case was turned over to Homeland Security investigations. In El Paso, nearly 2,600 pounds of meth was seized at the Isleta port of entry when officers discovered that a 56-year-old man was hiding the drugs in a lighting fixture boxes. The man was attempting to enter into the U.S. from Mexico in a semi-truck when a drug-sniffing dog alerted officers. An X-ray exam showed abnormalities, and that's when the 190 bundles of meth was found. And in the Laredo sector, Border Patrol was able to find and shut down a stash house. Agents, along with sheriff deputies, were responding to a suspicious activity call in South Laredo. That's when they searched the house and found 17 people, all in the United States illegally. CBP released a statement saying despite of an uptick in COVID-19 cases with illegal migrants, smuggling and housing of large groups of people in stash houses has increased, not only endangering the people being smuggled, but the safety of the nation as well.
Well, the Supreme Court deciding not to hear a case about whether or not people in the country illegally should be excluded from the census count. The justices threw out a challenge to the Trump administration's plan to keep immigrants out of the count when seats in Congress are divided between states next year. The court saying it does not have enough information about the president's directive at this point in order to rule on the case. Census officials say they may not be able to process this year's count by the end of the year deadline. If the numbers come in after Inauguration Day, President-elect Joe Biden has already indicated he plans to reverse the policy to include people here illegally.
All right, Kevin, thank you. The future of more than 5,000 people who live in South Carolina could be changing in the coming days. On December 22nd, a federal judge will hear a lawsuit on the legality of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program. That's an Obama-era program which allows children who are brought to the United States illegally by their parents to live and work here in the U.S.
Why? Why are you trying to dismantle our future here? A lot of folks call us kids now. We're the DACA kids. We're no longer kids anymore.
The Migration Policy Institute estimates there are almost 650,000 people in this group across our country. Our Chris Joseph spoke with one who lives in the Charleston area today.
Today I spoke with Jonathan Guerrero Ramirez. He says he's lived in the United States since he was 5 years old. 20 years later, a federal court case in Texas could put his future in doubt. Since DACA began in 2012, the debate over its future has raged. Another chapter will play out in the coming days. A lawsuit filed by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton claims his state is losing millions of dollars in social services to DACA recipients. In less than a week, a federal court judge in Texas is expected to consider whether to invalidate the program. Jonathan Guerrero Ramirez's future is in the balance.
Every day has been a struggle.
He says his parents brought him north from Mexico when he was 5. He faced an uncertain future until his senior year of high school when he applied for and was approved for DACA. I imagine on a certain level, it was also maybe a weight off the shoulders.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, finally realizing that I had a chance to further my life here was amazing, because one of my biggest fears is I don't speak Spanish that well. I don't really know how to read or write Spanish that well. And for a lot of folks, a lot of DACA people, that's the reality for us.
The protections gave him the green light to get an education and get a job in the U.S. He now works for a nonprofit who helps LGBTQ youth.
Thinking about, when I was that teenager, that queer teenager, I wish I had somebody to let me know that it's okay if you're undocumented. You will thrive pass this.
During the Trump administration, DACA has faced challenges. In 2017, then Attorney General Jeff Sessions attempted to bring it to an end, kicking off a series of court battles.
This does not mean they are bad people or that our nation disrespects or demeans them in any way. It means we are properly enforcing our laws as Congress has passed them.
Ramirez says he's looking for an opportunity to continue to call South Carolina home. The federal judge who will be hearing that case on December 22nd has ruled in DACA cases before. In one instance, he curbed the expansion of the program, but in another, he declined to end it. Reporting in Columbia, Chris Joseph, WIS News 10.
All right, Chris, thank you. And Texas is joined by 6 other states in that lawsuit, including South Carolina.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, God bless. Peace.